as Adam said, I was the mess treasurer at the house. Do we still have mess treasurers? I don't think you have to have a mess treasurer anymore, right? Do you know what that is? Mess treasurer is like the CFO of the house. You, yes, we had some kitchen responsibilities. We had 3 houses. We had a pretty big kitchen. We had a cook. We had a payroll. We paid people to wash dishes. So I would go every week with a checkbook to Grogan's office, and we'd sit and talk, and he'd sign the checks, I'd write them, he'd sign them, and we talked about all kinds of things. So in some respects, through that relationship, I guess, through my job as mess treasurer, I got the gift of being introduced to Bill Grogan. And while he wouldn't really ever know this, he was more like a father figure to me, because as a youngster, I was the product of a divorced family and didn't really have a father until I came to WPI and met Grogan. And again, he didn't adopt me. I'm not in his will. But whenever I see Bill, and I do see him regularly as a trustee, I just feel like I'm back at home, that I'm with family. I think he is just, just an unbelievable legend. And I know many of you feel the same way. I'm delighted that we decided in 1946 to initiate Bill into the House, and that he joined as the chapter advisor, and I'm thrilled that we're going to honor him again this evening. I think we are in the presence of a living legend. But, and here's where we move from the, okay, so who's this guy, Rucker, and what's his story, to, well, does he have anything useful to say at this lunch? I think that as I reflect on CAP and WPI, I am puzzled at times by the fact that we stand in the midst of so much accomplishment, so much excellence, whether caps or non-caps, and yet, when I go outside the city of Worcester, and sometimes even, inside the 495 or 128 corridor, and forget Northern Virginia, I mean, WPI, and less CAP, but WPI is largely unknown. We have our fans all over the world, but we're really still kind of a big secret in terms of our who we are. And I think that's a problem. So rest of my little chat here is to ponder this topic, provide a little bit of ammo, and then maybe suggest a call to action to address this. And I'm not referring just to our reputation and our ranking and our PR situation. I'm referring to the full leverage of the WPI community, of all of us, caps, non-caps, young, old, soon to graduate students. I just think we have an amazing, untapped potential that I'd like to see us unleash. I do think as caps, I think we have a really unique opportunity to be the Kickstarter, the sort of core DNA to sort of realize this, unleash this latent potential that we have here within our WPI experience. By the way, I see there's some ladies in the audience. I know that CAP is a brotherhood. I don't think we've merged with a sorority, but this call to action that I'm referring to is not just for the men of WPI, but it's for the women as well. I know that in some recent stuff I read, including some book reviews, there's reports that men need to do more manning up, if you've heard that expression, and there are books being published with titles like Manthropology. This is not about let's inject more testosterone into the process. It's really about getting all hands on deck, and frankly, leveraging those 5 ideals from the CAP playbook. Passion, dedication, integrity, humility, and leadership. So, what do I mean by let's unleash CAP? One way to think of it, and maybe this is a bad metaphor, but I like to use this notion of WPI and CAP Inc. Inc. So Inc. sounds like a business term, it is incorporated, but what I'm referring to is this almost hard to describe sense of pride and belonging that comes from being part of a special group, a special place, a special experience. Not joining the club and not getting your badge after having done your Boy Scout-like experience, but really getting this sense of community in your blood. Part of what's got me thinking about this is I've got two children in college. One's at Notre Dame and one's at Boston College. And I see in my son at Notre Dame, I see in 6 weeks he's drinking Kool-Aid. He's like lifelong, Irish, fighting Irish. And he wasn't the kind of kid that grew up with no relatives in Notre Dame, indirectly, yes, some from another, lifetime, but this wasn't like a legacy kid, and we didn't watch the Notre Dame games every Saturday on TV once in a while. Same with BC. What I see in those places, and I see it through my children, is that they are being indoctrinated and not brainwashed. They're not, they're not all getting the Kool-Aid. I don't think. Maybe they are. Maybe that's the whole secret. But something's happened. And yes, they do have some advantages like national Saturday football games, and they're bigger than we are, and they've been around about the same time as WPI. But I do see that schools like that have done something to fully capture the essence of what they are, and I think that's our missed opportunity here at WPI, and I know I juxtapose CAP and WPI. I know that we're a subset of the community, but I think most of us are, when we leave this room today, even though we're proud CAPs, we're really, all part of that WPI community. So I'm trying to understand, is this something that we can flip a switch on? I know it's not. And I'm wondering, is it in our DNA that, as engineers and science and technology folks, we're just not programmed to kind of get too cozy like the Notre Damers do? I don't think so, but I'm still trying to discover what is the sort of missing secret ingredients. I did read recently in a book, there's a book review. One book is called Clutch and the other is called Choke, and if you saw that little piece that I read in the journal, engineers are stereotypically fabulous problem solvers, and what this particular set of book reviewers said, and specifically in the book Choke, is that people who are really good at problem solving are really, and reasoning and comprehension, are oftentimes suffer or fail under pressure. So I'm not trying to put too much pressure on us here today, I guess. But I do, and the reason they say is because we're programmed to not take shortcuts, to overthink things sometimes, to really almost worry ourselves to death about an issue. I'm not trying to promote a worry agenda. I'm not trying to overthink some of the stuff that I'm hypothesizing about. I'm saying that we're right on the cusp, and actually, I think I heard in some of what Andrew has talked about earlier, and talking with Chris Noble and others, this whole new CAP that you guys have built in the last 5 years, you actually may have what I've been looking for WPI. You're small, we're small, but I think you guys are forming that nucleus of lifelong both pride as well as communal spirit that is not going to go away when we leave WPI and go off into separate careers. I have a feeling that you guys are going to stay more connected, more plugged in, and you're going to talk about this. And the more you talk about it, the more people hear about it, and the more you rub elbows and cocktail conversations and coffee conversations with others, I have a feeling that others are going to start talking about it. And that, to me, is what's going to start making this thing really change, so that WPI will become more recognized for what it is, which is frankly, the best undergraduate science, technology, and engineering university, in my opinion, in the United States. Now, I do think we've earned this. I don't think this is one where, again, we just got to hire another marketing VP or take some of the endowment and go buy some Super Bowl ads this year. We could, and RPI did a big spend on print advertising a few years ago. I think some of you have seen that. And I don't know, is RPI that much more famous and, kind of in everybody's lexicon today because of that? I don't think so. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about let's just go, get the marketing machine in place. I am talking about something that comes almost from like this, the gut inside this, the power of a group that's got passion and a mission. I think we've earned it. I think we've earned, both credentially and in all other respects, the right to say we are special here as WPIers and Cappers. And I think that this is not just, again, about being able to brag to your neighbors, your friends, your relatives that you're a WPIer. It's really about setting up a lifelong network and community you can draw from for your own personal benefit.